Hey, Celtics fans. Today, we've got a lot to unpack about this Boston Celtics team. And honestly, it feels like we're at a crossroads with a mixture of excitement and challenge. After finally securing that first win of the season against the New Orleans Pelicans, there's a little bit of energy back in this squad. But it's clear that the team still has plenty of moving parts that need attention. The win was a much-needed boost, especially after some early struggles that left fans wondering where this team was heading. But as much as victories bring optimism, they also highlight the areas that are still lacking. One of the most glaring issues, and this has been visible right from the start, is the team's rebounding. Despite having talent and athleticism on the roster, the Celtics have struggled to control the boards, and this is where a potential opportunity opens up, an opportunity that could reshape certain aspects of this season. Enter James Wiseman, a player whose career so far has been a mixture of promise, adversity, and glimpses of brilliance. The Indiana Pacers recently decided to waive him, a move that caught the attention of many around the league, and this now opens a door for the Celtics to consider adding a player with immense upside. For those who may not remember, Wiseman was the number 2 overall pick in the 2020 NBA draft. Coming straight out of high school and then briefly playing in college, he immediately showed extraordinary potential. His combination of size, agility, and skill, particularly his ability to dominate around the rim while still showing surprising shooting touch, made him look like a unicorn, a rare talent capable of impacting both ends of the court. Unfortunately, injuries have repeatedly interrupted his journey. A torn meniscus, lingering knee issues, and an Achilles injury have all limited his time on the floor, and as a result, his early years in the NBA have been a series of starts, stops, and setbacks. Despite these challenges, Wiseman has shown flashes of what made him a top prospect. During his time with the Golden State Warriors, Detroit Pistons, and most recently the Pacers, he averaged just under 10 points per game and roughly 6 rebounds, all in limited minutes. Those numbers, while not eye-popping, don't fully capture his impact when he's healthy, especially defensively. Reports and league insiders have noted that when he is on the court, he has the potential to anchor a team's paint presence, protect the rim, and grab crucial boards that others simply cannot reach. For a Celtics team that has struggled against bigger lineups and has often found itself conceding too many offensive rebounds, a player like Wiseman could be exactly the piece they need to regain control inside the paint. Looking at the Celtics' current depth chart, there's been a lot of experimentation in these first few games. We've seen new starters like Josh Minott and Hugo Gonzalez getting minutes in ways that fans weren't used to last season. Sam Hauser has seen some time. Luka Garza has been incorporated in specific roles, and Xavier Tillman has been asked to play smaller, more versatile lineups that stretch him beyond his comfort zone. This experimentation has made it clear that Boston is still figuring out its rotation, and that flexibility is both a strength and a challenge. But within this context, a player like Wiseman could offer consistency in an area that the Celtics have been noticeably lacking: size, athleticism, and rebounding in the frontcourt. The need for rebounding cannot be overstated. In the opening games, even with Jason Tatum leading the team, Boston's smaller lineups have been repeatedly exposed on the boards. Offensive rebounds have turned into second-chance points for opponents, and that has forced coach Joe Mazzulla to make constant adjustments and substitutions, often pulling players as soon as the team allowed an extra possession. It's exhausting for any rotation and limits the team's ability to execute a cohesive game plan. With Wiseman, Boston could address this issue directly. His ability to dominate the paint, contest shots, and pull down rebounds on both ends of the floor would relieve pressure from the wings and create more opportunities for fast breaks and second-chance scoring. It's the kind of impact that doesn't always show up in highlight reels, but fundamentally changes how a team operates. Another intriguing aspect of Wiseman joining the Celtics is the potential for him to reignite his own career. Being waived by the Pacers, especially after battling through injuries, could be discouraging for a young player, but a fresh start in a new system with the Celtics might provide the spark he needs. Boston offers a structured environment, strong leadership from veterans, and a culture that has historically allowed young players to flourish when paired with experienced stars. Imagine Wiseman coming in, finding his rhythm, contributing in crucial moments, and slowly building confidence. That narrative alone would not only energize the player, but also inspire the team and fans alike. The Celtics have always thrived when combining young talent with veteran savvy, and Wiseman's addition could be another chapter in that tradition. It's also worth considering the strategic flexibility he brings. The Celtics have a mix of traditional bigs and stretch players, like Luka Garza, who operate differently than a classic paint presence. Wiseman's ability to mix physicality with finesse, to step out for mid-range shots, and to run the floor in transition adds layers to Boston's offensive and defensive schemes. He's not just another body in the post. He can serve as a bridge between traditional and modern styles of play, giving Coach Mazzulla more options in lineups and rotations. With the Celtics managing their roster under luxury tax considerations, adding a player like Wiseman to an open spot is both a calculated risk and a potentially high-reward move. It's the kind of decision that could pay dividends not just this season, but in the longer-term development of the team. Of course, there are caveats. Injuries have been a recurring theme in Wiseman's young career, and the Celtics would need to manage his minutes and workload carefully. Patience would be essential as he adapts to a new system and rebuilds his confidence on the court. But if everything clicks, the potential upside is enormous. Boston gains a defensive anchor, a rebounder, and a versatile offensive piece, while Wiseman gets a chance to reset and prove the expectations placed on him as a number 2 pick were not misplaced. At the end of the day, the conversation around James Wiseman is about opportunity. Opportunity for the player, opportunity for the team, and opportunity for Celtics fans to witness a potentially transformative addition to their roster. With early season rotations still fluid, experimenting with different lineups, and identifying exactly what this team needs to compete at the highest level, Wiseman could be that missing piece. As the season progresses, the impact of adding a player like him could be subtle at first, but the ripple effects could elevate the team's competitiveness, especially in matchups where size and rebounding become decisive factors. It's a scenario that Boston has to consider carefully, weighing risks against potential rewards. But the prospect of adding such a high-upside player to their roster is undoubtedly exciting and could inject some much-needed energy into this Celtics season. Continuing with this discussion, one of the most compelling aspects of adding James Wiseman to the Boston Celtics is how it could reshape the dynamics of their front court. Right now, the team has been experimenting with a variety of lineups, often emphasizing versatility and small ball approaches, but these configurations have left them vulnerable against larger, more physical opponents. The Celtics' defensive schemes have sometimes been stretched thin, and giving up offensive rebounds has been a recurring problem. Wiseman, with his size, mobility, and defensive instincts, could offer a reliable anchor in the paint. His presence would allow other players more freedom to rotate on the perimeter, knowing there's a capable shot blocker and rebounder protecting the basket. This could fundamentally change how Boston approaches both ends of the floor. Offensively, Wiseman brings a skill set that goes beyond simple scoring. He can stretch the floor with mid-range jumpers, has the vision to execute passes from the post, and can operate effectively in pick-and-roll situations. For a team that thrives on movement, ball circulation, and spacing, having a big man who is not just a post presence, but also capable of contributing in multiple ways creates new options for the coaching staff. Imagine Tatum or Brown cutting to the basket, while Wiseman positions himself for a high-percentage shot or sets a screen that opens space for shooters. These are the kinds of subtle advantages that don't always grab headlines, but can be decisive over the course of a long season. Beyond the tactical impact, there's a psychological component as well. Wiseman is a player who has faced setbacks, and sometimes the environment and support system around a player can be the catalyst for a career turnaround. Boston has a culture of blending young talent with experienced leaders who can mentor and guide them. This could be exactly what Wiseman needs. A place to regain confidence, showcase his abilities, and remind everyone why he was such a highly regarded prospect in the first place. When a player finally finds the right fit, the energy that brings to the team can be infectious, elevating not only his own play, but the performance of those around him. Another element to consider is depth. The Celtics roster despite its talent, has shown gaps when injuries or rotations force changes. Having Wiseman available gives the team more flexibility, whether it's managing minutes for players recovering from minor injuries or adapting to matchups against teams with dominant big men. Depth is a critical factor in a grueling NBA season, and someone like Wiseman could provide both quality and reliability when the team needs it most. It's not just about what he can do in the spotlight. It's about what he can do to stabilize the team's performance night after night. Looking at the broader picture, Boston is in a transitional phase this season. Key players from last year are either absent or being integrated differently, and there's a clear emphasis on experimenting to find the right balance. The coaching staff is constantly assessing what works, how rotations affect performance, and where adjustments need to be made. Wiseman could be another variable in that equation, a player who has the potential to tip the scales in several areas, from rebounding to defense to situational scoring. Bringing in a player of his caliber, even with past injuries, is a strategic decision that could have long-term benefits if managed correctly. It's also important to consider the matchups the Celtics will face as the season progresses. Teams with dominant front courts can exploit smaller lineups, and early games have shown that Boston can struggle in these situations. Adding Wiseman would provide not just size, but also athleticism and timing, qualities essential for contesting shots and controlling the glass. His ability to alter opponents' offensive strategies simply by being on the court could have a ripple effect, forcing other teams to adjust their game plan and potentially giving Boston an edge in critical moments. Of course, any acquisition carries inherent risks, and Wiseman's injury history cannot be overlooked. The team would need to carefully manage his workload, ensure he's gradually reintegrated into game situations, and monitor his conditioning to prevent setbacks. But weighing these risks against the upside, the potential for Boston to gain a high-impact player who addresses multiple deficiencies seems worthwhile. The Celtics are looking for a combination of reliability, talent, and versatility, and Wiseman fits that profile more than many might realize. In terms of development, joining Boston could allow Wiseman to refine aspects of his game that haven't fully matured. With a structured system, clear roles, and the opportunity to learn from experienced teammates, he could expand his defensive IQ, timing, and decision-making in ways that weren't fully possible during his earlier NBA stops. The combination of high-level coaching and being surrounded by players who demand excellence could accelerate his growth, turning a once-injured prospect into a consistent contributor. But before we continue, please remember to subscribe to the channel and give the video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest news about the Boston Celtics. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. Breaking news is sending shockwaves through the NBA. The Boston Celtics have reportedly pulled off a move that could reshape the league's balance of power. Sources close to the organization claim that Boston has swooped in and secured Walker Kessler, in what many are calling a bold and aggressive strategy to fortify their frontcourt. While the league has yet to confirm the details, insiders hint that the Celtics may have outmaneuvered several rival teams in the scramble for the young center, effectively locking down their paint presence for the foreseeable future. Kessler, known for his towering presence, shot-blocking instincts, and mobility that belies his size, would provide Boston with a rim protector they have long coveted. The whispers suggest that this acquisition is not just about filling a roster spot, but about signaling a serious statement to the Eastern Conference contenders. The Celtics are not just participating. They are aiming to dominate. Analysts and fans alike are buzzing over how this move could impact matchups against powerhouses like Milwaukee and Miami, with Kessler potentially changing the defensive dynamics in the paint and allowing Boston's perimeter stars to play with even more freedom. The rumor mill is running wild with speculation about what Boston had to give up, with some insiders suggesting that young prospects and draft assets were part of the package. If true, it's a gamble that underscores the Celtics' commitment to championship contention. Social media has erupted with fans celebrating the potential addition, while rivals are reportedly scrambling to recalibrate their own strategies. Could this be the defining move of the season? Only time will tell, but one thing is clear. Boston is sending a loud message that their frontcourt, once a question mark, is now one of the most formidable in the league. As the story unfolds, league observers are keeping a keen eye on how Kessler fits alongside Boston's star-studded roster. Will he seamlessly integrate, or will the pressure of expectations weigh on the young talent? The Celtics locker room buzzes with anticipation, and fans can hardly wait to see if this rumor transforms into reality. Whatever happens, the chatter around this potential acquisition has already cemented itself as the hottest topic in NBA circles today. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Boston Celtics, please subscribe to our channel and give the video a like. We always appreciate your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.